Hi guys and welcome to the stream, and we are once again at this topic here. I of course am the 40k Empress, and we have to talk about the continuation of what the heck's happening with female custodes in the Warhammer lore. I already did 2 streams about this. If you like, you can watch them. There's a ton that can be said about this. But now we have new news, and it's basically a leaked information that may be true, but also may be not true. So you have to take it with a huge grain of salt. And we, of course, are going to discuss what this can all mean, but still, you have to know that this may be not true, guys. Who knows? Who knows? Everything is allegedly. Allegedly. So if I have to repeat this 500 times, it's allegedly. Okay. So basically, guys, there's a leak from 4chan, a person that works for GW, I think, leaked it on Twitter or X, and they say that Amazon wanted a female character or characters that were very, very powerful out and in of the armor, and they couldn't settle for Sisters of Battle because, of course, as we know, that custodes are the strongest. The strongest from everyone, pretty much. The only one that is stronger than the custodes are, of course, the Primarchs and the Emperor himself. And I also discovered that no one of the internet, I mean, no one that's actually a Warhammer fan, can pronounce custodes. Everyone are like, custodes or custodes or custodes something, you know, it's very funny. But anyway, also one guy said that no women or something like that could ever like Warhammer or get into Warhammer, so they don't need catering to. Well, first, that's another issue to have someone say something like this, because as I said before in my previous streams, if you are a geek, you are a geek, guys. And it doesn't matter if you're a girl or or a boy, whatever. If you like a lore, you just like the lore. You just have to be a geek, you know. Henry Cavill is a geek, and it just so happens that I'm a female and I'm a geek, like a huge geek about many things. Not only Warhammer, but Warhammer is one of my most loved geeky things ever. So it's kind of like unfair, you know. I am financially restrained and time-wise as well. There's no physical place for me to actually play the tabletop, but if there was such a possibility, you know, very damn sure that I would. But I'm playing the games, the video games, and I'm reading the lore books, so I'm doing everything possible. And for the 3 years, I think, that I got into Warhammer, I did my best to catch up with all the lore that I could possibly catch up with, and I'm still reading, of course, the latest book so I can stay up to date. Not every freaking book, but the most important books. I'm reading those. I'm gonna get to your comments as well. I just want to get through the news real quick so we can read your comments and we're going to discuss. So basically, it says here female custodes are only going to be mentioned in the codex, no new scopes or characters after the fact. So yeah, basically this was just only for that, so they can say that there's female custodes in the show maybe, but then nothing. They did not plan to continue with this, so it's even worse for any female characters to be just like a one-off thing. It's even worse, you know. It's not making any favors to the fans, to the lore, to any female characters or any female representation in the lore. And to add, we do not need to break the lore to have more representation. That's the wrong way to do it. And we have mentioned this before. Nobody wants, I mean, nobody that's a real fan wants any destruction of principles, core principles of how you can make in general the lore, how you can treat the characters, how you can treat the story, you know, by breaking stuff like that. Oh, you know, someone at where you work, and she's a lady and she plays 40k. That's super amazing. Critical Drinker did a video on this and he has 2 million followers on YouTube. Yeah, I know, everyone and their grandma are doing it, but unlike everyone and their grandma, I'm actually a 40k fan for sure. I mean, my whole channel is dedicated to 40k. I left everything else pretty much so I can do this. Okay, anyway, so reading further down the line, social media department jumped the gun and tried to put out fires with the wrong hose. Intent is to push female custodes character in Amazon show without it breaking lore because Amazon execs wanted the woman in power armor and wouldn't settle for Sisters of Battle, I guess they meant. People involved in the show are pissed because they've moving ahead on Eisenhorn, which is kind of weird. I don't know if I can believe the Eisenhorn thing, guys, because Eisenhorn, yeah, he's a very good inquisitor and all, but do you really want to do a show? I know that he was rumored even before Henry Cavill, but do you really want to make a show about a character that is not even a Primarch, not even from the original lore? I mean, the 30k, everything that's like after the Emperor is because of the Inquisition, and it's not a part of the Imperium original vision and everything. So I don't know, should you like start from the end of the story? I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do any show about Eisenhorn. If it was up to me, I would just start from the beginning, some kind of a recap of the universe, and then continue with the Emperor's rise to power, how I think it should be. And eventually, even through some flashbacks, you can show different periods of Earth, like any period really. Dark age of technology, everything that you can show. And yeah, depending on how many seasons you want to have and all of that, it could be like extremely interesting, even only from this part. And then eventually get to the Horus Heresy, and that's gonna be like amazing shebang end of the series. And then you can start with 40k series, something like that, because really the meat of the lore is not now, it is before, Anyway, so talks of inserting said female custodes into Eisenhorn's story, with Cavill threatening to walk away from the project, which I could believe if that's really the case. Small stock dropped today, but GW figures it can ride it out if it says, if it stays mum on the subject, whatever that means. They really need better social media employees. That's another topic, really, altogether, in general. Cavill will be in the article due to heading to GW to work on the new series next week or next. So that's gonna be interesting if that turns out to be true, that there's gonna be an article about Henry Cavill heading to GW to work on the series. We'll see, really, because a lot of things can change until then, I guess. If he leaves, it will be noticeable hit to the share price, meaning the show is dead. Good ending, or Amazon is calling the shots. Bad ending, not black. What is this? Gogorians, but similar scenario. Not sure what he meant there. If it's a show, I don't know it. You can trust me, my dad works at Nintendo. Okay. Kind of seems not very believable there, the way that they said this, whoever this is. And then are some responses. And yeah, guys. Oh boy, okay. What do I think about this? Well, first, yeah, we should not get too serious about it. At least we actually know that this is true or not. Of course. But then again, I would believe that Henry is gonna be very, very angry if that was the case. Of course that he would, because we already know how he reacted about The Witcher and how he left The Witcher. Rightfully so. And this person that leaked this also know it. So whether they are using this information to do this or not, who knows? Maybe it's like, oh, we want to just throw shade now at Amazon. Maybe GW is doing this to say, it's not us, it's not us. We are made to do this by Amazon. We don't actually want to do this. Who knows, guys? Who knows? I mean, this leak could be intentional for that reason. So, you know. Let me just see what your guys are saying in the chat though. Oh, I only mention Drunker's video because that's a huge audience hearing about how ridiculous this is. Of course, yeah, you're absolutely right about that. It's good to have a mainstream coverage in general, because I would expect that Warhammer will become very mainstream. Hopefully, I want that just because we are going to get more things realized on the screen. I want to see the stories on the screen because right now Warhammer Plus by themselves are really not doing a good job. They're just adapting random stories from Warhammer 40k. Anything but the main things, anything but the main storyline. Anything freaking else. They can literally pull stuff out of their butts and call them series instead of actually having some kind of a main freaking lore here, because the main audiences, not the main audiences, sorry, the general audiences would like some kind of a cohesion. They would like to see some main characters to understand what the heck is Warhammer in the first place, because it is already so very different from everything else that we already have. It's different than Star Wars, it's different than what, say anything else. Star Trek, Stargate, Andromeda. There's so many, like Foundation, Dune. There's so many different sci-fi fantasies, and Warhammer is like so vastly different. Even though you're going to say there's some similarities here and there, but there are really a lot more differences that they are similarities in terms of the story, the style, the grim dark nature of everything, and uh, Jesus, yeah. I don't even cannot point out actually, do we have female armies, factions in the other universes that I just mentioned? I cannot recall exactly, from Star Wars, we have female Jedi's, obviously, but then the whole factions. And here we have Warhammer, which is basically like accused that there are not enough female characters in it. But in reality, we have whole factions that are only from female characters, like Sisters of Battle, Sisters of Silence. Is that not enough? I mean, they can always create more, but just create them. Do not mix mix things up like they should not meant to be mixed up. The same way that the Astartes are only male and Custodes are only Custodes, I mean male, the same way you should not make Brothers of Noise right now. Out of nowhere, there's Brothers of Noise. Actually, we were talking about this in the previous streams. One person suggested it, and I'm very thankful for that. Basically, that would be different because creating a new faction can be, I mean, is adding to the lore. It's not retconning the lore. So it's totally different. It's a lot better. You can always add, but to retcon something that is already established, concrete, like in a concrete way, is not something that was vague before that. It was absolutely known. That's totally different. Okay. Oh, hi to other people in the chat. Oh, Mecha is here as well. Okay, Mecha. So, what, yeah, I'm reading your comment. Based on what I've learned in regards to these female custodies, like why? Yes, why? That's exactly what I ask. Why the heck? Nobody can answer the question why. Some part of the people are like, oh yes, I enjoy your tears, you're whining because females are now more in the lore. I'm like, come on, man. I'm a female as well. Hello, and I don't need the lore changed in the wrong way. Sorry, hit the mic. Uh, there's principles how you should do things correctly. There are all of a sudden there are not blanks that are going to be men and they are going to be turned into the Brothers of Silence. Sisters of Silence. That's it. Nobody are gonna change that. Well, if you're not gonna change that, and you're not going to add any males to that group, why would you add any females to the other group? It doesn't make any freaking sense. There is no logical justification about this. So it's not about feelings, it's about logic and principles. Like, do you have some honor, some kind of a integrity, people? What? I mean, I've read so many stupid things, like comments, and there's a PC Gamer article saying that only neckbeards, like neckbeards, are upset now because women are in the lore. And I'm like, I'm not a neckbeard, guys. Okay? There's women here, and even women that are sane, not insane, will not like stupid crap like that at all. So yeah, like why, as Matt just said, could easily use the existing female factions and better in better and sensible ways instead of this manufactured crap. Absolutely. As for the leaker here, they're saying that Amazon didn't like what Warhammer already had. They needed somebody that is strong out of the armor as well. Well, I'm sure that Sisters of Battle can kick most men's butt any day, even without their armor. But of course, they need the armor so they can stay toe to toe next to the Astartes and fight with them, alongside them, all of that. They're not as strong as Astartes, but they can definitely hold their own and kill a ton of all different kinds of enemies that also Astartes can kill. So it's not like they're completely incapable or anything. But you know how today's female character build is. They're not supposed to have any human characteristics or feelings or weaknesses. They're not supposed to have a character growth. They're just there already. Awesome. And there's no growth whatsoever. They're just already strong and you should bow to them. That is not what we saw before with female characters. I mean, with Xena Warrior Princess, Ripley, and so many others actually. They had character growth, they went through a ton of crap and obstacles and even death. But what made them, amazing to us and very inspirational is that they have determination and they have a lot of bravery. They want to learn so they can prevail. So everything that they did is uh, a ton of effort, and nothing was given to them on a silver platter. They were just people with real character, real strength, real bravery, and they just went and kicked butts because their willpower is stronger than a regular person's willpower. They're just real heroes, no matter if they were men or women, and they just did things that were believable for their characters. Oh yes, Sarah Connor as well. So in the circumstances that they are put in, they just kick butt, and that was substantial. There was substance behind these characters, and I never thought, watching them, like, oh my gosh, this is so up in my nose. This is so unjustified. What is happening here? What is this Mary Sue? Why I'm not interested in this character? So women are not yeah, women do not have the benefit of watching crappy female characters. Uh, like the snob version of any female character. Women will have a lot more benefit if they see a person with actual strength, courage, and all the qualities that all people, men and women alike, will benefit from. So that is what we actually want, and we do not need or want someone that is just gonna be like pow 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 pow. Oh, you're all dead, and nobody could oppose me because I'm female. Like, what is this? This is stupid. You know, it's not even provoking any thought. We're just getting stupider by watching such things. Okay, I'm gonna continue with your comments now. On the Bane in Dune, there's super psychics and super fighter. Oh, yes, the Bene Gesserit. Sorry. I always forget about the Bene Gesserit. I don't know why I'm connecting them with something a lot more, maybe more lame for some reason. But yes, they can fight. I just always forget about that. Yeah, they're a female faction. They're just one though. They actually control a lot through their actions because they can see things and they're warriors. That's pretty cool. And of course, yeah, Michael, thank you for that. The Eldar with the warrior class, that fully women, they're howling banshees. Yes, I'm not familiar with all the factions of the Eldar. I know about those. Yeah, I was gonna say the other alien factions that also have female warriors. I'm just thinking about the human right now. But yeah, of course, the Eldar, they have the coolest um, female heroines there. It's just amazing. Okay, the answers I keep seeing, okay, are seemingly, okay, sorry, there's something flying. are simply inclusion and representation. So basically, the code of woke approved virtues. And of course, what good are such virtues if you don't signal that you share them? Yeah, unfortunately, that's a stupid thing, and it's really so more even more stupider because those people don't realize that what they're doing is actually against what they want to protect. It's against women, it's against men, it's against absolutely everyone. Nobody benefits from artificial crap. It's artificial. That's the thing. We no longer have the truth of real characters, real virtues, real values. We just have this ultimate crap that's going against nature. It's like not acknowledging what men are good for in society, what women are good for in society, that we can both complement each other and do great things together and, well, separately, but together mostly. That is when the magic happens. So why not think about and celebrate all the good things that we can both offer? I mean, yeah, and not be like, oh no no no, men are weak, but then they're making all the female characters look like men. They destroy their hips in design of characters and everything. They don't want to show the women beauty and all of that. Because why? We should be ashamed of our beauty. So the feminists are saying that we should be ashamed of our beauty now. What is feminine about that? What is feminist about being ashamed then? It is just so the opposite of what they're doing, and they're just not they're not realizing that it is cancerous. Really, there's no other word for that. Just cancerous. Okay. People who are happy that we are upset by this Redcon are terminally online tourists. Yeah, tourists. They pretend they've always been here but just arrived now and now want to change everything to suit their own politics. Yeah, an American grizzly bear. That's a great that's a great name. Yeah, that's once again the sad part is that they're also knifing themselves in the stomach. It's not like they're doing anyone a favor. This is bad for everyone. They just don't realize it. I don't know why they don't realize it. I mean, I hate sexism more than anything else, but here's the thing. Most people that talk like this, they don't live in countries that they see a lot of sexism every day. And I do live in a country in which I do see sexism still quite a bit. Like women can't do this, women can't do that, even though we do anyway. So I have no idea what the heck. And if Warhammer was sexist, guys, I would be the first to say, hey, Warhammer is sexist. But you know, Warhammer is a world that a lot of things goes. There's freaking Slaanesh even, you know. It's not like she has any rules about anything. It's quite the opposite. So if a woman is not treated well in Warhammer, that is because the story is like this. And how about all the men that get butchered, killed, Astartes get blown to pieces all the time, regular people, the horror, the horror. So even Primarchs, they're mostly dead, and those that are not dead are missing demons, or, you know, we have Gilliman that died and came back, and the lion that was disappeared and now is here, and he's old, poor guy. I mean, who's gonna complain about that? Those men also deserve, you know, by that logic, somebody to be like, I don't agree with 40k because these and these characters are treated. Hold on, this is actually good writing. Hold on, this is character development, and hold the door. Those characters have a history, and not everything in the history can be good, because if there's only good things, then we won't see uh, we won't have anything as a growth, you know, at all. We have to see the good, the bad, in order to see the difference between the two. Jesus Christ, I can't believe that in 2024 we have to explain common sense to people. I have no idea what the heck happened. Okay, let me catch up with the comments, guys. Okay. Metrodot says, guilt baiting at best, like we're wrong with us defending existing lore. Yeah, how can you be wrong defending what we fell in love with in the first place? It just doesn't make any sense. Micah Bowen, Commander Schultz's son is a female Tau. So there are female characters. CS also the Tau. Of course, the Exodite. There was a cool female character there that was the lead actually. I like her. She had integrity. Okay. Rezo says before this change, 40k was already more inclusive and representative in its character and factions than most other IPS, and no real fans were unhappy with it. Of course not. I never, ever in my life was sitting here one day painting my custodes. You know, I just love my freaking custodes. I really gotta finish those. If anyone hasn't seen them, they're kind of like, this can't focus. But yeah, I didn't sit here and think, oh my gosh, I want this to have a vajayjay. What? What? No, freaking no. This is a huge man with huge weapons, and he can kill a ton of Astartes by himself. Not that he should, unless they're chaos. But the point is, that I never even had a thought. And like I've said before, guys, I mean, some of you haven't seen me before, but I'm playing games with male characters most of the time, just because, when there's an RPG, I'm just making a male character and playing with that. Like in Dragon's Dogma, I made the huge bodybuilder character because there's function where you can make his waist this small and his shoulders this big, and it's like the V taper and everything. And I'm a fitness girl, so I love that. I love seeing that on the screen. I love playing with such a strong character. Not that I don't like to play with the female characters. I mean, I love Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, and all of that. But when it comes to making my own character in an RPG game, I would 99.9% make them a male because that's what I want to see and play with on the screen. What to tell you? And I do know guys that love to play with female characters because they want to see a cool female character on the screen and they can play with that character. And there's freaking nothing wrong with that. Overlord Inquisitor says, I have awoken. Hey to Smith Johns. Justine. Hey, Justine. Justine says, Gary, I respect your perspective on GW wildness. I am pleased to supporting a lore content creator such as yourself. Oh, thank you very much. 20 viewers. I'm excited to see you keep growing. Keep up the good work, bro. Oh, well, thank you very much. Thank you so. And that really means a lot knowing how many years I'm fighting here, but I'm still gonna continue fighting. Rezio says, I do unfortunately also know quite a few long-time 40k players that support all this stuff, but it's because they put their IRL political, and real life political views before the hobby's well-being. But that doesn't make any sense. Jesus. And Peter says, keep the gate. Yes. I don't get this, guys, because in my real life, whatever political views I have, they're not anything that I have seen in general. I mean, I'm only supporting whatever makes sense, I'm seeing what somebody is doing, like a political party and another political party. In Bulgaria, things are totally different. They're not like in America, We don't have a lot of choice to make, and people always are going to vote for like two parties mostly. So I just have to choose whoever makes more sense and knowing what they did before. So judging by their actions, literally. I don't care who is who in this party and that part. I just care what they've done. What they've done for the country, for the individual person, for the part of the city that I'm living in, whatever, So I'm judging things based on facts, literally, and that is it. I don't care about colors and all those things because that doesn't make any sense. What makes sense are just factual things that you can actually see and know that they happened. And of course, checking facts, checking news, don't listen to fake news, all the things that you learn how to sift through the years. So yeah, and that will never be something in my real life that I would bring it in. And I had a friend before, and she was like the opposite of what I would choose. There was a vote coming, and I'm like, well, why would you do that? And she's like, well, because this person, I hate him so much. And she was just spewing hate without any justification for that hate. And I'm like, but why? Because this person did this and that and this. And she's like, I hate this person so much. I want him to die. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is psychosis. I mean, what are people doing? Where is the common sense? Where is the logic? Where, I mean, what are these feelings that overcome like intelligence? I just don't get it. Okay, and Mecca says, "You wouldn't been this dedicated fan in the first place, Gary, if W had been sexist." Yes, exactly. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Okay, what else? Oh, Steel Striker, hi to you. Talking on Amazon is like fighting the Tyranids or orcs. Oh yes, that's great. You want to beat them, we have to hit their bottom line in a massive attack. Yeah. Well, the stream is called Should You Boycott Amazon? I don't think we should boycott Amazon at this point because we don't know if this is a fact, you know? I wouldn't say, oh yes, go blind. We don't know yet. If we do know, then we should let them know to the very least that this is not correct because I mean, all Hollywood in general have to learn to respect the lore, respect what the heck they want to adapt, because we all know what happened with The Witcher when they didn't respect the lore, didn't respect the source material. We all know what happens to Star Wars and what happened to Star Wars. They make it their own freaking mess and not what it's supposed to be, and it's no longer that thing. You know, when you change things so drastically, you change them to the point where you just make things up. It's like plagiarism. You know, if you take Superman and make him a Chinese guy, you it's like making the same character. I mean, in terms of origin story, let's say, but just making your own character because you're changing everything else about this character. Even if you change just his race is enough to be like, oh yes, it's like I'm creating a new character, but because I took everything from another character, it's like I'm plagiarizing this character. So it gets distorted and ugly. That is how things are getting very distorted and very ugly. So basically, that is what evil is. When you distort things and you make them uglier, because you're twisting the truth, and that by itself, by its nature, is evil. So yeah. Okay, reading, guys. Overload Inquisitor says even more infuriating is that there's now people coming and saying that 40k needs to cut back on the what genocidal language. Like, bruh, what did you think that Warhammer was about? Oh yeah, of course, Jesus, and you know, in the context of Warhammer, you know why that is. You know why that is. So it's not like, oh my gosh, the emperor wants to kill so many aliens. No, you know why that is. I mean, the emperor is not like the wisest person in the world. There's a lot of contradictions there in his decisions, a lot of reasons as well, given and not given, but you will know in the context why this is making sense in the whole world, the lore, everything. Jesus. That's why context is everything, guys. You can't judge anything if you don't know the whole thing, you don't know the context, because you can make so wrong conclusions about a lot of stuff like that. Okay, let me read. Okay. Oh, okay. So, Dear Ivy says this happens as a norm in a lot of media, making PR changes which mark scores in the hopes of attracting new audiences, but it always ends up with a sour taste. Yeah, because new audiences are basically like sheep and they're very weak-minded. Probably not all, of course. I mean, I am a new audience. If you go 3 years back, when I first discovered Warhammer 40k with Project Astartes, I'm a new audience from that perspective. But then I got into the lore and I learned everything that I could about it, and I integrated my whole being in it because I really, really loved it. And that happened through the genuine nature of 40k and the interesting factor, all the interesting factors that 40k has. And yeah, if I was a new audience that got into something because of the wrong reasons and the wrong way that this lore is presented, then I would be uh, a vegetable. Yeah, because whatever I got in for, it wasn't for the right reasons, basically. But no, I just mean that if they are catering to the woke, wrong crowd, they will be getting a very low quality audience that will not stick, you know, that will not be as loyal as the original. And that's always the case. Uh, I hope molding Garish Journal is going well. Thank you. Yes, we are a great community here, guys. So I want to thank you for that. Riziao says, I'm starting to think the fan base just needs to come together and make a unified 40k lore going forward based on what was always going up until now. If GW wants to ruin it, we can preserve it ourselves. Yeah, we kinda can, but that's not gonna be canon to the lore, so we can always have a fan stuff. But basically, it's going to be like fan fiction, you know. And the original authors, although they're probably going to stick by the lore and by the true nature of the lore, they are owned by GW basically. Until they are, that is, and they cannot just write stuff out of their butts. They're gonna be sued. So yeah, I don't know how we can do that. And just then says, thanks man, help to have a friendly community such as this. Yes, thank you so much. Yes, boys, common sense is a hard commodity to come by in America. Yeah, but unfortunately, fortunately, that's kind of like a trend throughout the world. And I really hope it does not reach my country that much, but kind of started in some places. So we gotta be careful because I already see some crazy people here as well. And Ivy says, this could be fun, although I think there would be way too many arguments. Still, there is no reason not to come up with fan stories and build something great. Well, at least we are, copyrights. Throw, yeah, you get a copyright strike. I'm doing my own 40k animations. I posted one today. That is a parody, so it's protected this way, but GW can always make a problem out of it, even though it's a parody. Smith John says the UK nudge unit has been exported as concept across the West. This is the government-funded arm of ESG. This Amazon GW change is just another domino to fall. All products need to conform. Oh, Mr. Smith, I know that's probably the case. I really don't want to believe it, but well, as long as we don't buy it, guys, because we really can vote with our wallet, so don't buy it. Just don't. Okay, I'm normally not a fanatic, not a fanatic enthusiast, but if GW is going to go down this road, I'll take what I can get. Yeah, of course. And I love making these funny videos as well and other videos, so there's that. I really hope that Brava Fopusa can come back to the lore someday. Excuse me, get a, drink. Okay, just then you have to go back to work. Have a great weekend indeed, guys. It's Friday. Kind of almost forgot that it's Friday. Woke audiences don't pay you as the comic book industry. Yeah, because they ruined so many comic books, guys. So much catering there. So many rainbows there. Oh my gosh. The comic just got straight down the drain. It's horrible. And I understand if at least there were good stories there, but the storytelling is horrendous. So everything is bad and doesn't make any freaking sense. Oh, okay, guys. So let me see if I can see something that I missed in the story. If we can have something else to say about this. And I had a great stream with my friend Kid the other day about all of that, and he said also what he thinks. So you can see that if you haven't me and Kit are gonna join forces again so we can discuss further what is happening here as soon as he is free. It's a stage 4 cancer situation, says here on the Twitter thread. A business partnership shared the cancer from the company, from one company to the other. GW does not actually want this lore change. Well, that's the case, I'll be happy. And are trying to do it as minimally as possible. No models, no art, no future lore mentions from. Yeah, okay, if that's true, okay. I mean, at least GW did this if they did this, but still, when they write it into the freaking codex, guys, that's gonna be a problem because it's in the codex. Yeah, now that means that it's set in stone. Henry Cavill is threatening to walk away from the 40k show if they force him to include token female custodians in the Isaac Horn series or other such DEI changes. Cavill may have caused the situation on accident because he leaked the show before the paperwork was finalized, which gave Amazon a lot more negotiation power than they should have had. But I'm not sure about the Isaac Horn thing because I don't know, guys, if you heard something about the show recently. I haven't. It was announced before the freaking pandemic, and then everything changed. So I don't know if that's still going. If I were Henry, I would never start with Eisenhorn, as I said. Yeah, the comics need a massive reset. Where the reset button? I agree. I agree. That's why I was so scared about X-Men. But the show is good so far. I like the show so far. They did some stuff, about the character without the face, but that's not in your face. At least it's like on the side. You don't really notice it. Everything else is focused on the story like it should be. So at least that. My friend Logan, that is the comic book specialist here. I mean, I am to an extent, but he's even more. So yeah, he's also happy with the show so far. So at least that. We really thought that they're going to ruin X-Men. So far they didn't, at least. Ryu Art and Gaming. Hello, nice to meet you all. I'm a Warhammer 40k collector, player since the... Wow! That's amazing, with a bit of a pause in between, but I also love Age of Sigmar as well. Yeah, Age of Sigmar, welcome to you. Age of Sigmar is interesting. I just can't know everything. I can't get into Warhammer Fantasy that deep, but it's also amazing. I mean, you can make a whole series with Warhammer Fantasy. It's just amazing. I do play Total War Warhammer when I can. I stream it here when I can. I still have to get to that. So all the factions are just freaking awesome. You can make just a show about Kislev, for example. It's gonna be awesome. So yeah. They did put some female warriors in Age of Sigmar. I mean, his own warriors are also female. They are like the female custodians there. They're really cool. They have powers, but that's already there. I don't know if they retconned that before. I never heard of that. It seems like Sigmar's warriors have always been male and female. So when it's like already there, it's just great. There's nothing to it really. They're just there. They're just whatever they are. I mean, they're themselves. So that's totally different than putting something forceful in the lore. Okay, hold on for just a sec. Continue reading your comments. I will say one thing about this mess. I found this channel. Yeah, thanks, Michael. Thanks, because YouTube has really been very hard on me, especially by the fact that there's not like 500 tons of girls that are doing anything that has to do with Warhammer, and I think like I'm one of 5, I don't know, one of 10. I actually haven't found myself that many female Warhammer creators, so yeah, but still I'm nowhere, but I guess at least now you found me. Okay, reading here. GW will be bringing Cavill to the GW HQ to work on the project in the next few weeks and try and salvage this. Hopefully. Please listen to Henry, for goodness sakes. If they fail to get him to come in or he walks outright, either the show is dead, except female custodians to be retconned ASAP, or Amazon will have arrange additional control over the 40k show and this 40k for as long as the deal is live. Social media team responded without permission. No, there have not always been female custodians. They wanted to just quietly drop it and ignore it. Yeah, that totally fell through. This caused the disaster to explode into a cluster F that reached the Daily Mail newspaper, and people will be losing their jobs over this. Oh my gosh. Okay. So as I said, guys, we should take everything with a huge, big, fat grain of salt, you know, because we don't know if this is true, but it does make sense to a very large extent. So let us see what it is. I'm gonna be covering it non-stop. So there's that. But I just can't believe I just saw this PC Gamer article again. Warhammer 40k has slightly more women in it now, and the neck beards aren't happy. Great, I don't have a neck beard. So PC Gamer, sorry. That's the funny thing. I kind of see, uh, some kind of assumed, I don't know how to call it, but even the articles that will usually cry sexism are kind of being, sexist by themselves, saying that only neck beards, and also discriminatory towards other men that do not have neck beards. I mean, if you have to get into details, we can become absolutely ridiculous ourselves, you know. And finishing reading your comments here. Oh, hi to you, DRL. The female Space Marines were canon back in the 80s as they had models but didn't sell, so they changed the lore. That's why Jibber doesn't actually want this, um, from what I know. Yes, actually covered a ton about female Space Marines in the last year, and yeah, I found this information myself that there were actually art, basically like drone models and actual models of female space marines, but they wouldn't sell, so GW had to do no, no, no. And that is totally understandable, really. If something is not selling, female, male, whatever, there's just no point of continuing it. It was about the business back then. So then they came up with the lore and said that no, women cannot be space marines because the gene seed cannot be implanted and work in a woman and so on. And we know that they go through trials. Only the most exceptional men, strongest and brightest, can continue. And if you're the strongest woman, but still, you cannot go through it because you're still gonna be weaker than a lot of the men, then what the heck are we doing here, and just makes sense. And of course, you can always say Fabius Bile can make, and he did make kind of like a enhanced woman, but he can do whatever he wishes in other ways. That he's his own inventor. He builds upon existing technology, or he figures things out on his own. That's great and all, but that is his thing. It's not the Imperium. He's not representative of what is going to be happening in the Imperium, not quite yet. At least he does want to have more power, that's another topic. The point is, whatever he can create is not what is established. I mean, he can clone Primarchs, but they are not the same people, and they are not really in the lore after that. I mean, in the story. So it's not like he created someone that is pivotal to the whole thing. I mean, not yet, at least. I don't know if they ever going to give him as big of a role as this. He's steering the pot right now, especially having to have his way with Belisarius Cole. I don't want to spoil anything, but I don't know if that's gonna be something to consider to that scale, like everything else that would be very impressive if it happens. Like, for example, when Belisarius Cole decides to create a new type of, I don't know what, really. I mean, he can create new type of a custodian, maybe, just maybe, but then it's probably gonna be again a man, because why would you take a woman for that? And Fabius Bile can always create then female warriors for his own reasons, because he enjoys different things. He has his quirks, That's totally different topic, guys. Um, Sigmar provides and Emperor protects. Ah, that's cool. Although they're trying to say now that Sigmar lied about something, but I'm not familiar with everything there, so yeah. Discourse Minis just did an interesting video on the topic. Mentions a lot of retcons. Probably DRL, but if you can tell me one retcon that was a retcon of something that was already established as a concrete truth, then we're going to talk about. Because obviously, if there were a lot of retcons, I don't know, personally never heard of such a concrete change in the lore. It's one thing to add to the lore and say that, for example, Necrons now have souls. Maybe that was previously unknown and now it's known, you know. But it's totally different to say that when it's said in the lore that only sons of noble ones get to be custodes, sons and daughters, and all of a sudden, oh, there's a woman, and she went on a mission on this on these blood games or whatever was it, and she had this genius plan to put a bomb into the imperial palace and like into emperor's face on the golden throne and blow everything up. I never heard of such a drastic change. It's actual retcon and not adding to the lore, you know. I'm glad it seemed we will found the source of this tidal wave. I was worried they be trying to have orc girl or necron warrior with a more rounder chest plate. Rounder chest plate. Jesus. Yeah. And the other thing is, guys, of course, with the Space Marines as well. I mean, women Space Marines and Custodes, that they would just look like men anyway. So what the heck is the point? You know? Rogodorn tank now always been there. Necrons and Eldar been fighting for years, but only mention it when models came out. That's adding to the lore. You know, that's kind of like adding to the lore. They can always say that something was going on that you didn't know about, but it. I just explained it, but it's different when they said something is so and so, and then they change it. They said that no, it's always been another way. That's different. I don't know how else to explain it. But you cannot say that something is white and then you say that something is yellow. You cannot say that, you know? Then it's a retcon. Or you cannot say that something is white and then you say that the same thing is also black. And this is doing a huge disservice to the female custodes, as we know, because if there are female custodes, they did not participate then in anything, anywhere. A female custody never talked to anyone of any importance, to a primarch, to the emperor, never did anything, really, because they're nowhere to be found in the lore. You always have a male custody that we know, at least one, you know? Even I mean, when you take the Captain General, you know what he did, where he was, the battles that he fought, the primarchs, the characters that he talked to. But with the women custodes, because they didn't exist so far, you don't have anything to go by. You don't have anything. And there's one line, there's one line that Sanguinius said about the golden men and women and golden armor next to his father, all of that, but he could be easily referred to Sisters of Silence and the Custodes because they also wear golden armor. And people are taking this as proof that they existed from before, but no, this is about the Sisters of Silence, and it's obvious. So, you know, by coming out with all of a sudden with female custodes, it's like diminishing them in the same fell swoop because you're saying that they didn't do anything. Okay, reading. Okay. Yeah, I have my problems with some retcons like Tyranid 8 Eldar Soulstones. Tyranids 8 Eldar Soulstones who change into huge monster but would not be possible. Super silly. Oh, that's silly. I never heard of that. That in particular. Department of Transportation writes you. The sisters are mentioned elsewhere in the book, and Sanguinius didn't know the difference yet. Are you sure? I mean, he said men and women because I read it. He just said men and women. I mean, he didn't say custodes. He didn't say sisters of battle. They just wear golden armor. So, you know. Okay, hold on. I thought I saw something that I wanted to mention. I totally forgot what it was. Ah, yeah, I think there was something. Okay, guys. You know what? I wanted to talk about Brick in particular and what he said, but that I wanted to do that in a separate video because his response is 19 minutes. There's a lot to talk about, and my stream, dissecting what he said is gonna be like an hour at least. So I still want to do that. There's a lot of things that he said have to be addressed. I will try to do that tomorrow. So keep an eye on the channel for that, guys. Now, if you want to say anything, you can say it right now because I gotta go soon. The difference between sisters and custodes. Well, Overlord Inquisitor, I don't know if he knew. I just don't know if he knew by that point. But even if he did, he can still say men and women clad in golden armor or something. He can still say that as a figure of speech. He does not have to specify and say the words custodes and sisters of battle separately. He really doesn't. Yeah. Okay, guys, so I made an animation earlier. If you want to watch that, it's about Horace discovering that there are female bananas, female custodes, his reaction, then Gilliman appears, and Sanguinius and the Emperor appear as well, and they talk. So if you want to watch that, it's only a minute and something, and it's here. And guys, if you like to support the channel and have some kind of a use of my services, which are coaching basically, I'm doing that at the shocking site of OnlyFans just because it's a site where I can upload anything, and people are using it also for other things, not only explicit Slaaneshy things. And I'm not using it for Slaaneshy things, I'm using it for good. So I'm teaching all kinds of intimate relationships. I mean, I'm helping with that, fitness, health, nutrition, because I'm a health nerd as well as all kinds of other nerds. Yeah, all of those things. Sometimes I do ASMR if anyone is interested in that. My own pictures, which are, with my physique, but that is only because of what I'm trying to teach. So everything is with a reason and done with taste, and there's no Slaaneshy things, explicit content, all of that stuff is just a good place to upload and be like a private spot for us in which we can talk, and I can share my pictures without feeling like they're gonna leak out of somewhere, so that is what I use it. I try to use it for the best things possible. Just finished the 40k crusade game. Oh, okay. Which one? I mean, there's quite a few. Guards versus Voltan. Is that an old game? Stay away from Slaanesh, folks. Yeah, indeed. That's what I'm doing. There's a very funny show here in Bulgaria. You probably know it because it's the American show, but it's the Bulgarian version. It's called The Bachelor in my country. And it's one of the stupidest things that you can watch, but it's also like a comedy because they say the stupidest things, and you can see a lot of fake. Okay, you have no context for this, but if you want Slaaneshi things, but only with words and some fake artificial people, you can watch it there. But it's just funny because they say, from stupidity, they say the stupidest things, and just comedy gold. So yeah, basically. Oh, okay. Oh, 100, 500 point tabletop. The tabletop game, okay. Yeah, I know the Bachelor is in a lot of countries. I haven't watched the American version yet. I haven't watched it. I don't have time. But yeah, our version is just hilarious. Slaanesh maybe focus of a new faction. Oh, no, no, no. Better not. Anything that comes from Slaanesh is no, I'm getting out of here. Yeah. Okay, guys, I love ya. So hopefully I can appear tomorrow. And if you, yeah, if you want me to play Total War Warhammer, let me know. And of course, for DRL only, for DRL, I mean, he's the only one that I really owe this to DRL. I have to play it. So yeah, DRL, I will try to make that happen as soon as possible. So love you guys. And until next time with me, the 40k Empress Gary.